All right, today we're going to be looking at the tarot deck, the Pentacles. And we're going to go to Ace, which is the first, all the way through the King. Pentacles are material things you can touch, they're there, material. Like furniture in your house is material, it's a pentacle. Pentacles are pentacles are the earth, are an earth sign, okay? And pentacles are also connected with manifestations. So there's a table there, but making the table manifests the table. You know? So we get, especially with the ace. So we start with the ace. And the ace of pentacles are brand new. The first thing happens is an ace. And the first thing happens with any kind of material thing is making it happen. So this is actually a magical kind of card because this is the manifestation of the physical. Okay? So when you get this card, things are being made to happen. Now, if you want to look at money, that is also material. So they're symbolized here by the coin. Looks like a coin. Aces are all brand new things in the making. Upside down, not being made to happen. Okay? So that's the ace. From the ace, we go to the 2. Okay, so you got 2 things now, that's just one. And here's a juggler trying to keep the 2 of them up in the air. The juggler doesn't drop the ball with the number 2. He keeps them up in the air. But it's a piece of work. He's got to keep them up. He's got to keep moving all the time to keep them up there. Otherwise, they fall. So this is a card of juggling things around. This card shows up a lot of times when you rob Peter to pay Paul. This is a card of juggling things around to make them all fit. Upside down, he drops the balls. So this has a lot to do with like irresponsible behavior towards a material thing because you're dropping the ball. You promised to do this, you promised to do that, but look, you dropped the ball. You didn't do as you promised. So when you talk about people following through, and this card shows up as in the future, they're not going to follow through. And you can predict that, and you can be very accurate. These kind of things, just as a matter of course, showing up in the reading, are important. It tells you what's going to happen. So that's the 2. Now we don't just have the juggler juggling the 2 things, then we got 3 things going on, okay? And this is quite a job. So this is actually the master craftsman thing. Somebody does a very, very, very good job. In fact, when they do masterful work is even better than you'd expect them to do, or even better than possible sometimes. Like a magical act would be a 3 kind of thing. The 3 is mastership in making things happen. Or it could be as easy as arts and crafts. It's a master craftsman card. Upside down, it doesn't show that at all. It's just the opposite. It's not masterful at all. In fact, the upside down card shows up most of the time when nothing's done at all. Nothing happened. He didn't do anything. Is anything going to happen? So no, you've got the 3 of Pentacles upside down. Okay. Also, what did somebody do? It shows up. They didn't do anything. You could read it into doing a really, really, really poor job of it, but most of the time when they do that poor job, they're not even on the site. They didn't even show up. That's the 3. Every time you get into 4s, you get it into stability. Every 4's got a stability kind of aspect to it. And this is stability in material things. In fact, so stable, this card is so stable that it lasts forever and ever. In fact, it's so stable that it might even last longer than they do or you do. So it could be a forever and ever kind of card. So even if it's not about material things, if it's about 2 lovers, and this card shows up in prominent position, I'm thinking in the future, this relationship won't end. This is not going to be a divorce. This is going to be a forever and ever relationship. If you're looking at a relationship, tell me about a relationship, and this shows up in the right location with the other cards, I say, yeah, this is somebody that you can, this is your soulmate. This is a forever and ever kind of thing. And it shows up in all kinds of different situations as indicating that kind of aspects of it'll be there anyway. Upside down, you don't have that at all. Upside down, there's no forever and ever. This is a here today and gone tomorrow. This is a flash in the pan, okay? So all those meanings you read into the 4. About stability, or upside down, not. after all that talk of stability or not, we get into the 5. Okay? This is called the poverty card because it's a lack of material. So if it's money, there's no money at all. Okay? It doesn't have to be money. It could be all kinds of different things. But this card is the poverty card, not having something. So in a lot of cases, in psychological kind of readings, what's the matter with so-and-so? I mean, I get readings like that once in a while. And so this card's up, and I say, well, he needs something, or she needs something. There's something that person doesn't have, okay? And a lot of times it falls right into it. Some other cards come along, and you figure out what's going on in a situation that could be deeply psychological or way beyond your capacity as a reader. You know, some kind of professional would be involved to determine these things, and here you are in a reading determined it ahead of time. Not that you want to be a doctor, but I mean, these kind of things turn up. It's possibilities, and more often than not, they're actually accurate. So right side up is the poverty card. It's still poor. Upside down. It doesn't get rich. It's still poor. But now person's got a part-time job. They got a little money. Or they at least got 2 cents to rub together. Okay, so there's something there, but it's still poor. And it's total absence of the right side up. And now we go into the 6. This card shows up when you're going to get paid. I was reading for somebody just recently. It's in this room right now. And I said, well, you know, one thing, you're going to get paid. And sure enough, the event came and went, and sure enough, she did indeed get paid. And it happened to be a final outcome card. The truth, the meaning has to do with giving and receiving of the energy. So the energy is coming, it's going to be given, receiving, exchanged, and all this thing. It's always positive. It's always positive. And when you turn it upside down, you don't get paid. There's no energy flowing back and forth. Just pretty much the opposite. Again, it's a really good card right side up, and a pretty poor card upside down regarding people giving and receiving and working with each other. Now we got the 7 of Pentacles. Again, we're talking about material things. I mean, this is a farmer looking at there and says, I don't think I want to plant those damn potatoes anymore. I mean, I didn't get enough money from the harvest, This wasn't good enough. I don't know if I want to do that again. Something not good enough. I see this everywhere. When you're in readings and something's not good enough, this thing will show up to tell you, she's got a husband, but he's just not good enough for her. That kind of thing. Or he's got an employee, that employee's just not going to do the job good enough. Things are going to fall through the crack. So if something's not good enough, this card indicates not good enough. It's not a lost cause, though. There's a lot of times things you can do to make it good enough. It's not saying, it depends on where it sits. But that's the meaning of the card. And upside down, there's practical problems involved here. This is a card that says you got a lot of practical problems you got to get over to get the job done. And this card will show up to indicate that. Same one, upside down. The 8th card is a card of the apprentice, learning from the master, supposedly. And right side up is very conscientious. And the person's there learning from the master, learning how to do really good work. It's apprentice, the card of the apprentice. It also indicates anything with school involved. This card shows up indicating learning and proper learning. Upside down, no, not really proper learning at all. Upside down, it becomes dishonest. I call this is like the occupational dishonesty. Like a person's a bicycle repair person, and they can do 10 bicycles a day. All of a sudden they get really busy, 25 bicycles come in a day, and she says, oh sure, I'll have it for you tomorrow. Well, he doesn't have it for you tomorrow. He's collected on 25 bicycles, he can only do 10. Or maybe less, because he's spent all his time pulling in the 25 bicycles. This would be dishonesty in your workings and your craftsmanship dishonesty. And sloppy work. Yeah, go back. It isn't always dishonesty. Sloppy work would be also pertain to this thing. Now we go to the 9 of Pentacles. This is the card in the deck of independence. The card of independence. Independence is also a financial card. Independence implies financial independence, but it implies all kinds of different kinds of independence, and there's different kinds of independences in all of it. Even though this is a material card, This is independence. Independence is also stubborn, very stubborn. So this would also apply that way, wherever it shows up. Whenever it shows up upside down, there's complications in it, and there's things that aren't working in it. And most of the time when I see this, I see an element of codependency. So if you know what codependency is, this is the card of codependency, upside down, independent card. Now we're talking about material now, and if it's money, this is the jackpot card. So if you got money coming from your work, this wouldn't apply to that. If you got money coming from a lotto win, yeah. If you got money coming from a inheritance, yes. This is the jackpot card, okay? It's not only the jackpot card in terms of money, but a lot of times it's not about money. If it's about relationships, this is the marriage card, or one of the 2 marriage cards in the entire deck. So there are 156 different meanings. 2 of them, this being one of the main ones, 2 of them can apply to marriage. This is a marriage card. This is the practical marriage card. The other one is the spiritual marriage card. So you know how to apply this thing. If you're talking about, should I play the lotto and you get this as a final outcome, I'd go down and I'd buy extra tickets. Okay. Just as it was a jackpot card right side up, it's a jackpot loss upside down. Or doesn't have to be jackpot something you're going to be getting, you could already have it. So this could be losing your job and your house at the same time. This could be, this are losses. So if they would exaggerate the loss and say it's going to be a big loss to show this card. Now we get into the people cards, but they're not always people. If there's people involved, this will be a people card. This will be a young person or an immature person if they're older. It's typically under 13, okay? Now these are about material. If it's not about kids or people that are immature, and they're not kids, really adults, then we're talking about communication, as all pages are about communication. This is communication about a material thing. So I speak it into existence. So when I speak it, it makes it happen. Yes, I will marry you. What happened? You just spoke that thing into existence, so it's going to happen. Okay? So we speak things out, and then they happen. This is that idea of speaking it into existence, which is a magical act. All the magic in the deck usually will be seen primarily with the pentacles, because they're material. And whenever you make a material thing happen, that becomes a magical act. So this is the page of pentacles. Beyond that, it's communication of material nature. You can just do, and it's always positive when it's right side up. Upside down, no communication about material things. There are things that kind of undo things. It's negative in the same way it was positive right side up. In terms of kids, this is very positive in terms of education. It's a very positive education card. Next we get to the kids that are 13 to 35, even beyond the kid thing. These are the knights. So if they're not about a person, and if the same thing would apply to the page, but it's a knight. If it's not about a person, it would be about an important material event. And because it's pentacles, it's about a material thing. Okay, important material event, materially important. So this would show up for all kinds of things, material that show up, financial that show up. And because it's right side up, it would have positive implications about what's going to happen. You could predict some financial asset or financial, positive financial situations coming up with this thing right side up. Very negative if it's upside down. Again, the same thing. It's an important material event. It's one that you'll be losing, not gaining. Whatever could be material would be the pentacle. So it could be anything besides, it could be other things besides money. Now we got the Queen of Pentacles. It doesn't mean she's rich, or in the case it could be a man. It doesn't mean he's rich. It implies riches, and a lot of times a person will be rich when this shows up. But what it's really saying is the person's got good finances, that they pay their bills on time. They have good financial, they're sound, and doesn't mean they're rich necessarily, but it does show up to be rich sometimes. Upside down, they're irresponsible. They're not responsible for their material well-being. And so that applies the same way as the other cards. Then we have the King of Pentacles. These cards do show up with rich people. So if somebody's rich and they want to tell you that, a lot of times they'll show you this. But it could be the other things. It could be they're very responsible with their finances. It would be hard to find somebody that was kind of on the poor side with a card like this. They would be more than they would be a lot richer than the poor side, but they don't have to be rich. So this is the King, and that's the final of the Pentacles. Thank you.